If you're tired of the standard business and marketing fundamentals, frameworks, and funnels, you need a little mischief. Get ready to turn up the volume on the CEO Mischief Maker podcast, where you access conversations with seasoned business owners who have smashed through mindset barriers, innovated the standard boring business and marketing playbooks, and executed future-paced strategies with bleeding-edge tools and tactics to micro-fail their way into massive success and growth. We are Mindset Impact Strategic Catalysts helping innovative entrepreneurs focus. We are CEO Mischief Makers. Ready to make a little mischief? Hello there, CEO Mischief Makers. MKJ here with our first dive into mindset. So this is Monday and it must be Mindset Day. Yes, it is. I got to tell you, I'm going to take you through a short journey into how mindset has impacted my life. And it's not just mindset. It's actually clarity. It's actually focus of your intentions, all those kinds of things. It all lumps into mindset. It kind of reflects what not to do, right? I mean, I don't know if you've ever dealt with that, but really it's what not to do. It's where to spend your energy, where to spend your focus, all of those things. Mindset, as an amazing distance mentor of mine has said, that I heard at a conference recently, and I just adore this woman, Lauren Nicole Johnson. LaurenJohnsonandco.com is her website. But her quote, and this impacts all of us: mindset isn't everything, but it affects everything. That's the way I approach mindset. That's what I'm going to talk about. So I mentioned in this opening episode, the first episode of this podcast, that I've been in online business since 2003. And the number one mindset issue I have had to face, but just at different levels, but it keeps resurfacing, is this whole imposter, this whole I'm a fraud, this whole everybody's going to figure out that I'm not as good as this last result I got, or this last client, or this last student, or whatever. They're going to figure out that I'm nobody, nothing, that I'm terrible, that I'm not good at all. That's the imposter that almost all of us face. And that shows up in so many places. It shows up in our procrastination. It shows up in our quitting or switching focus or shiny object or chasing a new squirrel, all those things. It really shows up in all those places. And I'll tell you, the first time I had to overcome it was during the 2008 recession. I started my first business in 2003. It was the first novelty maternity company online, where I sold novelty maternity clothes with little sayings on the belly, like, don't touch it kicks, right? Things like that. And I started November of 2003 and never had a down day. Okay. It went up, up, up. It was at first e-commerce, before we had Shopify, before we had any of the social platforms, before we had WordPress or anything like that. Luckily, I was a technical recruiter in my previous life, in one of my previous lives. And I was able to call on a bunch of my techies that I had gotten jobs for and ask them lots of questions about how to build a website, how to create a shopping cart, how to take payments online, all of that. And it was an incredibly knowledge-building adventure. But what happened in 2008, after all this amazing success, and success, of course, makes me feel really good, right? Makes me feel like I'm doing incredible things. But then when 2008 hit and everything started to go downhill, the first thing I did was, I must be doing something wrong. It's something wrong with me. Here it comes. Everybody's going to find out I really don't know what I'm doing. I'm really bad at this. And it just went down by half. My revenue went down by half the first year, down by half the second year, down by half the third. And it just kept going and going. And I just kept thinking, well, I just have to do different things. I have to add a new line that has Swarovski crystals and get myself into $60,000 worth of debt. Seriously. By 2012, I'm looking back going, what the hell happened? And it was not fun. I had a lot of self-deprecating talk. I had a lot of difficulty believing in myself. And finally, this identity that I had built around my business as if it were my identity personally, that if the business is successful, then I'm successful. If the business fails, then I'm a failure, that I am tied to that, and that my self-worth is tied to that, is the first mindset shift I had to allow in myself. And so that imposter never goes away specifically. She sits on my shoulder now and then. She whispers in my ear now and then. She is louder sometimes and incomprehensible other times. But each new stage I reach in my business just brings her up in a different way. And the way I got through that first set of issues with that imposter was to detach myself from the identity, from my personal identity with my business. And it was my accountant who, when I was crying, when we were doing taxes and saying, I just don't understand. I'm trying, I'm doing everything I can. What am I going to do? And my accountant looked at me and said, why are you still hanging on to this dying business? And I just was bawling, saying, well, if the business fails, then I failed. And he looked at me and said, you are not your business. And that one statement finally hit me across the face. And I finally realized, wow, you're right. I'm not. This isn't life or death. This isn't associated. This isn't tied to me personally. It's a business. It's not me. And so I stopped crying and I looked at him and I gave him a big sloppy wet kiss because he also happens to be my husband. And I said, all right, what are we going to do now? And liquidated all my 401k, my savings, and paid off all my debts, and turned around and then just started to chase the next squirrel that came across my path. So that led to a few years of diving into tech and having fun with different platforms because I love that stuff. I'm not a developer, but I love learning and I love logic, until I stumbled upon chatbots. And another mindset issue took hold, which was, wow, this is amazing. I really want to learn how to do this. And the program that I wanted to take was called Bot Academy. And it was headed by Andrew Warner. And his program cost $2,500. So after that whole process of identifying with my business and getting into debt and all those scary things and hanging on too long and all of that, I had that scar, and that scar was really still wide open. And I was like, I cannot get into debt. I am not doing this on my own, because before this, I was a complete superhero solo entrepreneur. I learned everything, did everything myself, never trusted anyone to do anything for me. And I was the best and the most able and capable to do whatever I needed to have done in my business. And when it came to this chatbot thing, I knew that if I tried to figure it out on my own, it would have already passed me by. So I had to figure out how to take this course, but I was not going to put it on a credit card. So I had to go out to my community and say, hey, who needs help with marketing? What are you working on? And luckily, I had another podcast, Parent Entrepreneur Power, that interviewed entrepreneurs. So I had a lot of entrepreneurs on my Facebook friend list. I just went out to my friends and said, what are you working on? Many of them were coaches and course creators. And they said, I'm launching a course, because this was January of 2017. And I said, can I help? And I got 3 people on a call, and 2 of them agreed to pay me $1,000 each to build them a chatbot, which was going to help them bring people into their webinar for their course. And so I had a pre-sale of $2,000. And of course, I was honest. I told them I didn't know how to do this yet. I was learning. I had a pre-sale of $2,000 to learn how to build chatbots. And when I had my application call with Andrew Warner to see if I was qualified to actually build these things, I said, I've never paid $2,500 for anything in my life. And he said, how about 2,000? And I said, sold, because I already had 2,000 in pre-sales. And that started me on this journey of allowing myself to not just disassociate from my business, but also realize I'm not the cat's meow. I'm not the only one who knows how to do these things. There are other people who know how to do a lot more than I do. And when I open up and allow them to do that, I will get to where I need to go much faster, much easier than if I did it all by myself. But if I didn't experience that first, I really wish I didn't wait for like 14 years to experience it. I wish I'd have learned that lesson maybe 2 years in or a year in, but no, stubborn me. Yeah, but when I hire someone, when I open myself up and accept that someone might know a lot more than I do about a particular subject, and I can learn from them and grow faster and easier, then you damn well better believe I'm going to do that. Oops, sorry, I got to let you know. Occasionally, I might say one of those cursey words. Not a bad one, but I might throw one out here and there. So please be aware. If you're listening with children around and you don't want them to hear that, wear headphones. So those are just two of the mindset shifts that I have made. And those two shifts allowed me to be open to many, many others to come. And I'm talking money mindset, right? Hopefully we'll be able to talk to people about that. I'm talking about self-hypnosis that got me through and over really my own self-worth, tying my self-worth to anything that I might do or experience outside of myself. Those kinds of shifts that have allowed me to realize that, no, I don't identify not just with my business, but I don't identify with just the product that I offer. I'm bigger than that. I expand way beyond that. And I can actually be the CEO of my business, not just the freelancer using a particular piece of software. Those mental shifts that I had to make and look at myself differently have allowed me to go places that I never even imagined. Financial, so money mindset, to go from being scared to ask someone for $1,000 to build a chatbot to being okay with asking someone for $30,000 a month to build a marketing solution. And that marketing solution was going to be delivered by a team of about 10 people. So that's a huge mental shift that I had to make. And it did not happen overnight. It did not happen in a week. It did not happen in a year. That I went from $1,000 to build a chatbot to $30,000 a month retainer for clients, not all, but these particular clients, in the span of 3 years. To being able to have the mindset to speak on a stage and actually walk out in front of people without peeing my pants. I'm serious. I mean, come on. 1,000 people. My first speaking gig was in front of 1,000 people. Okay. I had to go and hire a Tony Robbins coach for that one and get my Wonder Woman stance on, y'all. It was amazing, but I did not do that by myself. I knew by that time that I had to have that mindset shift with someone's help. So I hope these kinds of mindset conversations will bring value to you because this is the top of our pyramid, so to speak. This is the pinnacle. This is the overarching change you can make in your life and your business that will trickle down into the next layer and all the way down to the ground level to allow you to do things differently. So I hope you enjoy these episodes every Monday on mindset with much smarter entrepreneurs than myself. And I hope you are able to contribute to this conversation by going to CEOMischiefmaker.com and telling us what you think about it. All right. I'll see you on Wednesday. Okay, hold on. If your mindset was shifted, you were inspired to innovate, and you were spurred into action, don't just move on with your day. Focus, my friend, and take a few minutes to visit CEOMischiefmaker.com to learn more about the value that was shared with you today. Please act now and create some CEO mischief of your own.